Good afternoon. I'm Liz. I'm CMO of Wagestream, and I'm also a non-exec advising boards in a number of sectors regarding employee engagement with their internal and external customers. Focus today being all about our internal customers. I've been in the financial well-being sector for a number of years, and as I was just talking to Tim, when I spoke here 5 years ago, financial well-being and financial resilience was all about pension consolidation, looking after your mortgage, getting on the property ladder. And working with Wagestream, we've gone a level deeper. The urgency and the kind of financial well-being support that is needed at the moment, there has never been greater. If I were to tell you that you need to put 16% of your living wage aside in order to achieve a decent pension in retirement, how many of you would go? If I also told you that 50% of households don't have even £300 in savings, would that surprise you? Particular stat that surprises me, and there'll be a few stats to come, so bear with me, is that out of the 1 million people using a loan shark at the moment, guess where they met that loan shark? If you can have an educated guess if you look at the slides behind me, but they met that loan shark at work. The role of the employer in improving financial well-being for those that need it most has never had the opportunity to create more impact and to improve the status quo for those that need it the most, more so than now. Wagestream do this with a number of brands, as you can see there, a lot more than we could fit on the slide, but we make work more rewarding for 3 million people. We are the world's most widely used financial wellbeing platform, and we focus on those that need it most, on frontline workers. But the principles of financial wellbeing and improving financial resilience are the same no matter how much you earn. Your financial health will ebb and flow throughout your life. You might be starting from a particularly vulnerable position. You might find yourself in a particularly vulnerable position. But what's important is that there are organisations out there that can help. But where does the role of the employer in enabling that help to occur start and finish? And as HR leaders, how can you engage the C-suite and those that can invest in these types of solutions in making change happen? One of the ways to do that is to think of, and it's a commonly used phrase, holistic financial well-being. Creating, as Tim said, a healthier relationship with money. Tracking your shifts, tracking work that you've already worked, being able to pay yourself when you want to pay yourself, being able to talk to a coach when you want to talk to a coach, being able to save for the first time. We've seen 1.2 million set aside every month in savings from frontline workers last year in Wagestream because of a change of mindset, because of a healthier relationship with money. But as an employer, what level of risk do you perceive with that? How close do you actually want to get to your employees' worries and challenges? And that's something that many HR leaders that I've spoken to have struggled. And key to that, and that's what this session is going to be about over the next 15 minutes, is showing your C-suite how improving financial resilience is a business growth asset. It's the right thing to do. Society needs it, but it is also a business growth asset, and it will help you win the war on talent. There's a series on Paramount at the moment called The Flat Share. It's about a couple who have to share a bed. They don't know each other. One sleeps in it during the day, one sleeps in it during the night, because they can't afford a flat on their own. Now, art imitates life. That's reality. That's reality for many people at the moment who cannot afford to live day to day. Particularly in sectors such as hospitality and retail, who have suffered because of the pandemic, post-Brexit, etc. These challenges are part of everyday life. But to try to connect that to the C-suite, to try to connect that to individuals who are earning significantly more than the masses can be somewhat of a challenge. And it's that engagement and it's that connection that I want to just chat to you about how we can help make that happen. If you can make it happen, your company will reap the benefits. Increase in productivity, profitability, and external customer satisfaction. But you've got to enable the decision makers in your organisation to see HR as a key strategic driver in business growth and to be able to connect with that. If you're asked to put a business case for wellness together, you're going to be asked, what problems is it going to help solve? How much effort is it? What impact will it have? How does it fit in with everything else we're doing? How much hassle will it be to implement? All of those questions that you have to look at, because the right thing to do, and it is the right thing to do to improve financial resilience, isn't always enough. We look to our clients to help us when it comes to telling us what those metrics are and the impact that they can have. Co-op, for example, employee well-being has been the key focus, with 86% of employees feeling less stressed. But equally, how many of you are currently battling the war on talent? How many of you are currently focusing on reducing your staff turnover, reducing your agency spend, differentiating your EVP versus the competition? Link also financial resilience to improve productivity, as Bupa have. 32% increase in overtime worked. NHS, 11% increase in hours worked as a result of improving financial resilience. These are metrics, these are proven metrics that enable you to have those conversations with data and insight that's available to you. A lot of this also links to your company culture. Does your organisation look to parent or to empower? I'd urge you to think about that, because again, low risk, high impact solutions, you can point people in the right direction, but what you're ultimately doing as employers is equipping them with the tools they need to improve their financial health. And they've been introduced to those tools courtesy of you, their employer. That is how you differentiate yourself, and that is how you are creating moments that matter to empower people to improve their financial resilience overall. In the war on talent, when you're struggling to recruit and to find good people, you don't need me to tell you that with your existing staff, let alone your new staff, how your people feel, how they behave, and how they view their employer is more important than it ever was. There has been, in the competitive landscape, in the war on talent, a seismic shift, if you like, in well-being overall. Many organisations are looking to equip their staff with life skills in that parent or empower debate. How to iron a shirt, where to find a dentist. All important life skills that they're helping people achieve. Why on earth should managing your money not be a key component of that? Why is managing your money better, financial well-being support, an employee benefit, and not a hygiene factor, not a lifestyle choice? It's 100% a hygiene factor, and yet it still can be perceived as, do we really need it? Is it really important? I'm often asked where to start when looking at a wellbeing strategy and looking at putting the business case together. And I'm going to try and talk you through in the next 10 minutes where to start and the areas to focus on. But when you're looking at a wellbeing approach, you're going to be looking, of course, at physical wellbeing at the workplace, how people are physically, their emotional and social well-being, and their financial well-being. Again, as HR leaders, you don't need me to tell you that. But it's all a key part of your well-being strategy. I'm here to fly the flag for financial well-being. I'm here to promote financial well-being as a key focus. But it is arguably also one of the most lowest hanging fruit that you don't need to wait for your annual employee survey to prove the impact of. You can prove the impact of financial wellbeing solutions if you choose the right one as soon as you launch. Uptake, impact, business growth, the impact that this can have and how it can elevate the role of HR, the potential is huge. So, to start, think about your wellbeing strategy. Do you offer the emergency room, or do you offer the lifestyle that enables you to avoid the emergency room? You should be offering both. If you think about it, if you have somebody with a repetitive strain or a muscular skeletal issue at work, you'll be able, when they raise that problem, to offer them support. But you also, presumably, are focusing on the environment in the first place to ensure that that doesn't happen again. You're thinking about preventing the problem as well as being there with your EAP when the problem arises. Financial well-being is no different. This is not about what do I do in an emergency. Of course that's important. It's about how do I prevent myself getting to that point where I need support in the first place. So first of all, if you feel that you have a more reactive approach, I would urge you to consider moving to a more proactive approach. If you're working on preventative, which is important, I would suggest you move to promotive. Make all of the support that you have available, make your employees aware of that, show them where to go, how to do it, encourage them to look at it. And that's key in your employee communications. But ultimately, if you think about it, you would then have a long-term strategy that will enable change to happen. And you as HR leaders will be the key drivers in that. Gartner come up with some really complicated diagrams, and sometimes I hesitate about putting them up. But I put this one up because I thought it was quite helpful. If you hate fishing, just go with it. I hate fishing, but I thought it was good. Think of your financial well-being of your employees as you're continually on a journey. Think of your well-being overall as you're continually on a journey. You're on a journey with your employer, and at times, everything's going swimmingly. At times, everything's going perfectly. At other times, you're going to need help. You're going to need help, and you're going to reach out for it. You're going to fish for it. Your well-being strategy has to enable everything to run swimmingly, but to be there when you're needed, when support is needed. What does that mean? Well, our clients at Wagestream have helped us by showing what the business impacts can be. Here's what the personal impacts can be, because the reason that myself and my colleagues all get out of bed in the morning is to help frontline workers improve their financial well-being, and they say it far better than I could. Help with budgeting, help with day-to-day spending, understanding your income, how to use it, empowering you to use your income so that you do not fall vulnerable, high-cost credit, loans, etc., makes a change of mindset. I personally think people don't want to be educated all the time. I think that people look for moments that matter. If you have an employee and they need a particular help with a particular thing, maybe an emergency, and they get that help, and they get that help straight away, they have a more positive mindset. They can take a next step. People in debt, able to get out of debt, able to manage their money better, are then more inclined to save. If you go straight in to people that are struggling to feed their kids each week and to get to work on a Thursday or a Friday with, have you thought that you need 16% of your living wage going into your pension pot to enable you to be successful in retirement? What do you think they'll do? Switch off. And who could blame them? Another key aspect of improved financial well-being is that it will massively accelerate your ESG agenda. HR has a huge role to play in this moving forward. At the moment, it's only mandatory to report on ESG to get your ESG score if you're over 500 employees or more. But this will change as regulatory influence changes. Financial well-being supporting your ESG proposition is key. And these are 3 brands that I particularly admire, which I haven't got time to talk about, but who do this really well. And I would urge you to look at their ESG strategies if you have the time. But your ESG score as an organisation is going to affect how you can trade with suppliers in the future, how you're perceived, the war on talent, how you differentiate yourself as a business. If you have an inclusive, measurable, impactful financial well-being solution in place, you will level up your ESG score. Now, if that makes your head of compliance take note, your CEO take note, use it. Use it in your business case. You can show the impact, you can show the potential impact, and you can reflect and you can benchmark the stats and the data and the information to support it, the key components of the business case that you need to put forward. But beware. Just as people have fallen foul of greenwashing, which is basically saying we're so excellent at ESG, and then they're not, don't go out on social media on Mental Health Awareness Day saying well-being is extremely important to us, and then your employees on Glassdoor are saying, no, it's not. Have integrity and be very, very careful that you're not falling foul of stating something and the truth and your employees contradicting you, because in a world of social media and in a world of the connected workforce, you will be found out. We talked briefly about savings, and one of the key things that we've been involved with, which I'd love you to come over to the stand to have a chat about later if you're interested, are your workplace saving schemes. Because saving with a financial wellbeing platform, such as Wagestream, we've worked with Nest Insight, Harvard University and BlackRock on a trial at the moment, linking financial wellbeing platforms to savings, and we've seen a 50% uptake increase in the employees that have taken part in that trial in workplace savings. 50%. Some people saving for the very first time. Those behaviours of managing your money better, paying yourself, empowering yourself to be able to do that, leads to other positive outcomes. There's also a white paper available on Stand 37 that goes into that in far more detail. But back to those business case points to close just before the questions. Co-op, I'll refer to for the first one. 27% faster recruitment, attracting talent faster. Co-op put financial wellbeing and using Wagestream on their job ads. Why do they do that? Because the competition also do it, and people are looking for empowerment, financial wellbeing solutions as part of the requirements that they have when they're going to an employer. It is a hygiene factor. It is not a benefit. It is a benefit, but it's not only a benefit. It is a hygiene factor. And you will see the benefits of it as you take it forward. Increased retention, 16% reduction in staff turnover from the likes of Big Table. What I found particularly insightful here was that Claire, the group HR director, said that she'd worked previously for a competitor and it would have been so useful. In your war on talent, remember that, please. If you don't do it, your competitors will do it. And that is, again, something that you can prove demonstrable impact with others in sector, and we can certainly help you with that, but it's a way of talking the language of the C-suite and being able to connect with the data that you're presenting. Increase in overtime and shifts worked, so increase in productivity, not just cost savings and the war on talent, because you're improving the relationship between work, pay, empowerment, financial well-being. You are educating people through tangible actions that are improving the way they view their money. I don't know what your agency spend is like, but you can reduce it by 32% if you, like the NHS, should you take on this approach. You can also talk to your CEO about 86% of your employees feeling less stressed, less likely to leave, and more loyal as a result. And you can reduce payroll queries, something that is often the bane of many of our payroll colleagues' lives as a result. Finally, I know I'm running slightly over, but finally, one of the key aspects of any business case, data, measurable impact, and business growth. If I leave you with no other thought than this, it is don't think of your financial well-being strategy as something that you need to persuade as the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do. Show it as a business growth asset. Show how it can improve the status quo and show how it can differentiate your organisation above the competition. And then those that are disconnected are far more likely to sit up and take note. Thank you.